Hey everyone, I hope you are doing well. I had such good intentions of keeping up with this podcast and filming about a month or so ago, but summer just got so hectic around here. This is really the first chance that I've had to sit down since the last time. I had unexpected travel in August and things have just been so busy, but I am very happy that September is here. School has resumed, and along with that are some of the routines and normal things that go along with life. So thank you so much for being here. My name is Sandy, and I have been posting regularly on Instagram. I like to post a lot of little updates over there, and I've also been posting weekly videos on Patreon. So I will put all of the places that you can find me elsewhere on the internet down below. And I wanted to share some knitting updates. There were quite a few months earlier this year that I just hadn't been knitting regularly, but over the summer break or the summer months, I have been picking up knitting projects, focusing on some really fun things, and I'm excited to share some of those updates with you today. The first thing that I want to share is a finished object. You will notice I am wearing it right now. It is an absolute favorite project. I am really in love with it and so happy with how it turned out. This is the Bandit. It is a beautiful cowl design from Clinton Hill Cashmere, and yes, it is a cashmere yarn project. It is so cozy and beautiful. I'm really excited about wearing this one this fall. I finished it about a month ago and I just am now getting around to sharing it. So I wanted to put it on and show you how it fits. I think it's going to be the perfect piece to wear this fall with a jean jacket or even with my winter coat a little bit later on in the season. It is super cozy and warm, and I have realized that I absolutely love cowls. I love most knitting projects and accessories, but I find cowls so much fun to knit. They're not as large and consuming as a shawl project. I can finish them a lot quicker and I find them really wearable. So this is a Clinton Hill Cashmere yarn. It's their DK bespoke yarn. The color I think is called Tropical Teal, and I can't remember how many balls of yarn it takes, but when you do purchase Clinton Hill Cashmere yarn, you get the free pattern to go along with it. You'll get a PDF sent to you. And this is designed by Rebecca, who is the owner and designer behind Clinton Hill Cashmere. Her mother, Lori, designed some of the most beautiful patterns. You can check out their Instagram account. They have so many wonderful patterns featured and highlighted. I just get so much pleasure from following along with all of the knit alongs that they do and all of the beautiful patterns on their website. The styling of them is gorgeous and I just really love this project. You start off knitting it flat. I think you start off down here and you knit it flat until you are ready to join it in the round, and it is such a fun knit. I followed the pattern exactly and I am really, really happy with it. So I wanted to share my first finished object in quite some time. I remember I was in a bit of a slump with my knitting, and this was one of those projects that really got me out of it. I have probably talked about it in recent months, but when I am in a slump, I need to sort of pull back, have a look at all of my whips. I think I was ripping out a whole bunch of things, projects that I knew I wouldn't finish. I kind of get overexcited by all of the beautiful yarns and designs out there, and I'm getting a lot better at deciding which projects I will finish and which ones are really worth my time. So this was definitely one of them. It got me out of my knitting slump, and I am so happy to have it off the needles for the fall. I have quite a few other Clinton Hill Cashmere knitting dreams at the moment, so I'll share those with you a little bit later. I am going to take it off because it is a little bit warm, and then I will continue with some of my knitting projects. I have another finished object to share. I have been on a bit of a mission in the last few weeks to finish up some of my languishing sock projects that are sitting in a whip basket. And I've also been really loving DK weight sock knitting this past year, and so that was the first pair that I decided to pick up and work on. And here they are. These are the Hawaiian shirt colorway from Woolens & Nosh. I absolutely love this colorway. It is a DK weight self-striping yarn. So pretty. I absolutely love them. DK weight socks knit up really quickly for me. They are plush and cozy. I think I've got the perfect gauge with a US 2.5 needle or a 3mm. I've been using DPNs, and even though I use magic loop or circular needles for the occasional sock projects, I usually use them for my Advent socks in December because I like to cast on 2 separate ones at the same time. But for the most part, I tend to grab DPNs for my socks. And this pattern is a huge favorite of mine. It is the DK weight vanilla sock by Kay Litton of the Crazy Sock Lady. It is the perfect vanilla sock pattern for me. I absolutely love it, and it is free. And I really enjoyed knitting these. I think I had maybe 1.5 done. I think I had to finish the heel flap and the rest of it. So I picked up the second sock, I finished it, and I am very happy with them. I wove in all of the ends, and I haven't blocked them, but I don't even really think they need it. I might do it just to make them smell pretty, but they are super soft and ready for my sock drawer. And so while I was on this sock knitting mission, I started another one, I think earlier in the summer. I really wanted to use the same DK weight vanilla sock pattern by Kay Litton for a shorty DK weight sock. And I had this beautiful skein of yarn in my collection from Legacy Fiber Arts. It's one of my absolute favorites. I'm not always a pastel person, but this one is so pretty. I absolutely love it. So I used the same pattern, the same DPN needles in a 3mm, and I just did a shorter version. I think it's about 2.5 inches from the top of the cuff to where I started my heel flap. And that's that. So I finished the first one while I was traveling a bit in August, and when I got home, I immediately cast on the second one just to kind of keep that flow going. I have it packed in my denim bunny bag. This is one of my favorite bags for sock knitting. And I do have a few of them still in the shop from the last update. They are so handy. Here is the skein of yarn. This is After Dinner Mints. And I have just cast on the second sock. I haven't really done too much just yet. There it is. Just the beginnings. And this is my favorite needle. This is the Knit Pro Zing DPN in 2.5, US 2.5 or 3mm. So that is what I am working on for socks. I am really trying to keep it going. I really want to finish this second sock because I have this tradition of casting on a Halloween sock at the end of September or in October, and I have quite a few beautiful Halloween themed yarns that I'm going to share with you in a bit. I've even cast one on Halloween night. It's such a fun tradition, and I really want to knit another pair this year. So that's my motivation to keep working on this sock, and it's been hard because I have a couple of other projects that are really distracting me right now after months and months of not feeling like knitting much at all. I was just occasionally knitting a row here and a row there every few days. It was really not my priority. I am so loving some of my current projects. So my next whip is a sweater. I've been working on it here and there for the last few weeks. I've been making slow progress, but progress nonetheless. It is the Wave of Change jacket by Denise Byron, who is Byron Handmade. And I am loving this project. I started it a little while ago and I kind of lost steam for a bit, but I've been really thinking about fall and I'm kind of considering this project my Rhinebeck sweater. I am not going to Rhinebeck, unfortunately. There were a couple of weeks where I thought I was going. I was planning it with a few people, and after a few unexpected trips that I had in August, I've just decided not to go. I think it would be too difficult to get away from work and a few other things going on, and so unfortunately I am not going to Rhinebeck this year. But that doesn't mean that I can't have a Rhinebeck sweater, and this is going to be it. So it's keeping me excited and motivated. I'd really love to finish this by October. That is the goal, and I'm making pretty good progress. It is a chunky weight yarn, so it does move really quickly. I found a really nice flow and rhythm to knitting this pattern, and I am ready to split for the sleeves. That is the next row. That's why I stopped here, and I haven't really progressed in a couple of days because I want to sit down and just concentrate on sleeve separating. I'm absolutely in love with this yarn and this color. This is Sweet Skein of Mine, bulky weight yarn, and the color is called Pass the Merlot. It is so beautiful. I am really particular about color, and when I decided to do this project, I had a very specific color in mind. I had inspiration photos, I was on the hunt, and I couldn't really find what I wanted. So I contacted my friend Amanda at Sweet Skein of Mine. It's looking a little bit off there. I contacted Amanda, I sent her my inspiration photos, I told her what I was looking for, and she actually had this color in her repertoire, and she dyed up a batch for me. It is so pretty. It is exactly what I was looking for. I was kind of inspired by the color palette of knitwear from Cezanne. If you know that brand, you know they have the most beautiful clothing items and colors, and I just really wanted something like this, and she got it exactly. So this is my Rhinebeck sweater. I'm really loving it. I can't remember what size I'm making. Let's see. I think I'm making the second size up, whatever that is. So not the smallest one, but the next one. It's knitting up beautifully. This yarn is super soft. The color is so gorgeous and saturated. I am really excited about this one. So my weekend plans are to sit down with a nice cup of coffee at some point and separate for the sleeves. I do have a new cast on that has been distracting me, and I am really loving it. Once again, I was totally influenced by Caddy Jack's knits. They shared on one of their most recent podcasts the Sophie scarf, which is a pattern from Petite Knits, and I think they are doing a knit along with it, and there's a hashtag, and I think it is How Do You Ascot? I'm not sure. But they have beautiful versions of this scarf, and I could not resist. I went stash diving. I found some beautiful yarn in my stash, and I have cast one on. And once I picked out my yarn, I decided to look for a bag in my collection, and I thought this was the perfect match for it. It is one of the metallic bunny bags that I have in my shop, in rose gold. I absolutely love it. It's giving me all of the fall and holiday feelings. And I am really enjoying this project. So it's the Sophie scarf by Petite Knits. And I think it is done, or it calls for a DK weight yarn. And many people are using a fingering weight with mohair, so double-stranded. And these are my colors. And I originally chose a different mohair, but I cast it on. I didn't love the combination, so I ripped it out and I found this one in my stash as well. They are both from Chelsea Yarns. They're so beautiful. I've had them in my collection for quite some time. I've been just waiting for the perfect project for this. This is the fingering weight yarn in exposed brick. I'm not sure how to describe this color. It is like a burnt rose, I think. It's very brick-like, but it has a beautiful pinkish undertone to it. I really love it. And the mohair I paired with it was a Rhinebeck colorway that Christina dyed up a couple of years ago, and it went with a Rhinebeck colorway of, I don't know if it was DK or fingering, but it was beautiful. And it was the last time that I was in Rhinebeck. So I don't know what year that was, but it's making the most beautiful combination. And I think I'm making the larger size of this one. There are two sizes in the pattern. There is one that you can just tie once and it will just be like a little ascot. And then there's one that's a little bit longer and you can wrap it around twice. And I think that one might be more my style. And here is what I've done so far. I absolutely love this combination. I'm getting the most beautiful halo effect on here with this mohair. And I have a Sucra Sucra Miniatures Progress Keeper. And I think it is so pretty. I'm not quite at the halfway mark. I think I'm at the halfway mark, or maybe just past it for the smaller version, which would be great to also tie around the handle of a tote bag. I think I might do a second one and tie it on my leather tote bag, or to tie in your hair. But I really want to do this one in the longer or the bigger version so that I can wrap it around twice and wear it with my coat. So this is an addictive knit. It's super simple. You don't really need to pay attention to much of anything other than the repeat, because on every 8th row there is something different to do. But other than that, it's so easy to remember and just kind of plug away on while you're doing other things. I've brought this to soccer with me. I brought it to an appointment. I knit it in the car. It is really fun. So I can see doing a bit more stash diving and doing another one at some point. But the problem is that it's distracting me because I really want to work on my sweater. I also want to finish my sock. And I do have one other whip that has been a little bit neglected. It's in this bag and I know I've shared it so many times. This is an old one. And I had such high hopes of working on this project. Every Sunday morning, I was gonna go into my backyard, sit at the table, knit a couple of rows, and dedicate at least 30 minutes a week. That was my plan. And then a whole bunch of stuff happened this August, and I was traveling. I didn't expect to. I think I was actually gone for half of the month when you add all of the days that I was away together. So I haven't really devoted the time that I wanted to on this past summer, but I did do a little bit, and so I thought I would share because it's one of my favorite projects and I am not giving up on it. It is the Bayou shawl. I've shared it before. I know a lot of you also love it. It's such a beautiful project. It's not like anything else that I'm knitting. And I have ripped out a lot of more complicated projects that just haven't held my attention, but this one is too beautiful to me to rip out. And I really want to have this finished so that I can wear it. I think it would be beautiful with a dress or just thrown over a tank top in the summer. I absolutely love it. It is called the Bayou shawl by Layla Robb. It was a pattern, I think it was on the Quince & Co website, and I'm using Quince & Co linen quill. I can't remember this color because, like I said, it is quite old and I don't have any of the ball bands in here anymore. But this one is still on my radar. I know I don't have any more summertime to work on it, but I'm keeping it out. I'm keeping it in my kitchen actually, and I still might try to devote 30 to 60 minutes every weekend, probably on a Sunday morning, to doing a little bit on this project because I love it so very much. I had to pause and take a short break because my memory card was full, and I am really not used to sitting in front of the camera for this long anymore and talking so much. I wanted to share a whole bunch of beautiful stuff that I have in this basket. I got this basket in Rhinebeck many years ago, and it's holding a whole bunch of beautiful purchases that I've made and lovely things that friends have sent me. And I'm so excited to share them with you because that means that I can finally start putting them all away or winding them up and using them. So the first thing I wanted to share is this adorable little basket. I purchased this from Big Blue MoMA. And I have been wanting this size basket, so a relatively small one with neutral colors, particularly this style. I really love this basket style with handles that has the higher sides to them. And I wanted one of these to gather a whole bunch of my sock whips and put them all in one place, along with a little notions pouch and a hand cream, and just tote it around the house with me or take it out to the backyard to sit at the table and work on finishing socks. I love gathering a few almost finished socks or half objects because it just reminds me to keep pushing through and try to finish them. And then when I get to a certain point, I will have 2 or 3 toes to finish or 2 or 3 heels to do. I just like having them all together so that I can pump them all out at the same time. So that's why I got this little basket. I think it's so pretty. I think it would make a very pretty handbag in the summer too. It's the perfect size to tote around, and I love it. So inside of this basket, I've been keeping some beautiful yarns that I got from a homespun house, and I have been so inspired by Molly of a homespun house this summer. I've been watching all of her Patreon videos and absolutely loving them. And she has really inspired me with her sock knitting. She's been making so many different pairs of socks using minis, different colored minis for heels, toes, and cuffs. And I absolutely loved that idea. I was intrigued and I wanted to purchase a set for myself, so I went onto her website and I found this one. It is so pretty. It is called the Saturday Morning Sock Set, and the color is Wild Oat. So here is the larger skein for the body of the socks, and then there are 3 different colors. And you can pick whatever colors you want to use for your heels, toes, and cuffs, or you can stripe it. You can do whatever you want. I just thought it was the sweetest idea. And this colorway is gorgeous. And I usually gravitate towards cooler colors, like blues and greens, and a lot of purples too. But I've been drawn to a lot of these warmer and bright colors lately. So I'm excited about this one. I think it will make a beautiful pair of socks. This is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It is 322 yards, and I love it. So I'm really excited to have that one. Molly also had some beautiful, I wouldn't call them scrappy, but they were kind of like scrappy, stripy socks on her Instagram. And I was so in love with the colors that she used, and she happened to have a sock set with those minis as well. It's called the Soft Sock 5 Mini Set, and the colorway is called Good Vibrations. And this is that same palette that I've been really drawn to. She is so talented. I really love Molly's sense of color and how she combines colors, how she does her speckles. I absolutely adore. This is a really beautiful combination. So it has 5 different colors. And she does a beautiful sock. You should check out her Instagram and scroll around and look for it. It is definitely on my to make list this fall, or maybe this winter. We'll see. I have so many yarns to choose from now. I also have this beautiful DK weight sock set from a homespun house. It is in the Gelfing colorway, and I think that this one will be absolutely perfect this winter. I love the color of the main skein. You can see how beautiful that is, and then it really pops with this mini. So I have lots and lots of sock knitting options. This one is a DK weight, the other ones are fingering weight. And that's part of my motivation to just keep finishing socks. I'm finally back into sock knitting, and it's really, really nice. I think for me the key is to just focus on finishing a few pairs now and then, because I get so easily distracted by new ones. Also in this basket, I have a beautiful Coop collection yarn from Chelsea Luxe Yarns. Christina sent this to me. It was the June colorway for the Coop collection. It's absolutely gorgeous. Here's the card that came with it. So she does a monthly set where you get a yarn inspired by one of the chickens in her coop, along with some little bits and pieces. They're different all the time. Sometimes there's tea, candies, there have been stitch markers. This month there's a beautiful Coop candle. It smells so good. I don't even know what the scent is. It's kind of creamy and vanilla, caramel-like. It is so yummy. So I've been saving it in here, and I think this is going to be a great fall candle. And here is the yarn that came in the June Coop collection. This is called Connie's Friend, and I love how she's paired this beautiful kind of pastel colorway with this rusty orange. It is so fun. Really, really beautiful. I always love opening up her packages. They're filled with beautiful paper that comes tumbling out. It's just so pretty, and it's something I look forward to all the time. She's such a talented dyer. Okay, this next bit of yarn is from my friend Kate from Hawthorne Cottage Craft. And Kate sent me a beautiful box this summer filled with such pretty things that she's been collecting for me. I don't have them all here to share with you because I have just unwrapped everything and it's scattered all over the house. I have a beautiful candle and room spray in my bedroom. I have some crystals that are on my desk. She even sent me, I do have these here, these beautiful oracle cards. Just so many beautiful bits and pieces. And I wanted to share the yarn that she sent me because it's one of my absolute favorite colors, and I'm really excited about what I could knit with this yarn. Now, you'll be able to tell that this is very similar to the color of my Clinton Hill Cashmere Bandit cowl that I shared earlier. I think it's just a really good color for me to wear, And I really gravitate to this shade of like teal turquoise. It's like a beautiful jewel toned color. And this yarn is so squishy and soft and luxurious. It is from stolenstitches.com. It says yarn by Carol Feller, and it's called Nua Sport. It is 60% merino wool, 20% yak, and 20% linen. So pretty. It's called Hatter's Teal Party. I have 3 skeins. I think they're 50 grams each. So I feel like this might make a really beautiful scarf or kind of smaller shawl, like a wrap. It could even make a beautiful hat and mittens. Fingerless gloves are always nice. So many possibilities. It is so beautiful. I say so all the time. But I absolutely love it. So thank you so much, Kate. I cannot wait to knit this into something beautiful. And I will think about you every time I look at it or work with it. In my basket, let's see. Oh, earlier in August, the boys and I traveled to Prince Edward County. It's about an hour and a half away from me. It is really beautiful there. And we paid a visit to one of my favorite places, which is Shed Chetwynd Farms. It's the alpaca farm that I've been to before. I'm pretty sure I've shared a little bit about our first visit there, and I do have some footage, so maybe I will try to put the footage of Chetwynd Farms at the end of this video. And I picked up this beautiful alpaca yarn. It is 80% alpaca, 20% merino. It's the Earl Grey Lopi. It is 125 grams or 105 yards. And I thought this would make a stunning hat, like a super simple, bulky hat that would go with absolutely anything. I have made things with their yarn before, and it is such a treat. I love visiting their farm, looking at the alpacas, and then coming home and knitting with yarn from their farm. It's just such a wonderful feeling to know where it's coming from, and just to stitch everything with your own hands and then have a garment. So you really get to see the full process, even though I don't see them actually process the yarn. It's really nice to know where it's coming from and to support a local farm. So I really, really loved this purchase. I'm excited to make, I think, a hat with this winter. I also made a purchase thanks to Caddy Jack's Knits again. If you've been watching any of their recent podcasts, they've been sharing quite a bit of Diamond Lane's yarn, and I have never tried any of it, but I was really intrigued because they were both wearing sweaters and shawls knit with this particular yarn, I believe. It's the Birdie base. And this summer they had an Italian collection. I think it was Tuscany inspired, and I couldn't resist this colorway. So I picked up 3 skeins in case I want to make that shawl at some point in the future. This colorway is called Spritz. It is light fingering. It is 74% alpaca and 20% silk. It's 50 grams in each skein, and I have 3. And I think it's going to be a really fun knit. I think you hold this double to make a really light and beautiful shawl. I can't remember the name of it right now. I'll look it up and I'll put it up on the screen. But if you watch their podcast, you will see that I think they have one in purple and maybe pink, like a hot pink. I was very tempted by the purple, but I went with something a little different for me. So I have lots of beautiful yarns that I can make things with this fall and winter and on. I mentioned earlier how much I've been enjoying DK weight sock knitting. I also mentioned my love for Legacy Fiber Arts. You guys know how much I love Sue and Chelsea from Legacy Fiber Arts. They are amazing people. I absolutely adore them, and I consider myself very lucky to call them my friends. They are so talented, and we did a bit of a swap earlier this summer, and they sent me their beautiful collection of Halloween inspired yarns. How gorgeous are these? This is the Halloween collection inspired by the movie Coraline. These are all DK weight sock sets. They are a 4-ply DK weight yarn, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. Every color, it gets more beautiful and more beautiful. I don't know how I'm going to choose which one to cast on first, but this is definitely going to be where I start with my Halloween cast on this year. This colorway is called Portal. I think it might be my favorite. There is something so beautiful about the way that Sue dyes her yarn. You can see this large skein is absolutely stunning on its own, but then there is something so special about the colors of minis that Sue pairs with the larger skein that just make them pop and make them even better. See, this is beautiful on its own, and then it just gets better. So I think this might be my first one. It's so pretty. I love this aqua color with that. Second one is called Coraline Jones. Also gorgeous, large skein, beautiful speckles, really interesting colors when you look deep inside that skein. And then it's paired with a more subdued but super pretty mini that just makes this one even better. I love it. This is really pretty. I want to cast that one on too. Then there is Jumping Mouse Circus. Love this one. Lots of pinks, and there's a bit of burgundy, orange, so pretty. And it has this really sweet bubblegum pink mini. And there are 2 minis in all of these, so that if you want to cast them both on at the same time, be nice and easy to do that. So beautiful. And then this one is called Buttons. I really love this one. It's fun and very Halloweenish to me. I feel like this would also be a great one to cast on Halloween night. And this pretty marigold color mini just makes the whole thing pop. They're all so fun and inspiring. I want them all. I want all of these socks in my collection as soon as possible. I'm thinking these are the 2 that I'm looking at right now. I would love to cast this one on soon, and then this one might be my Halloween night cast on. So thank you so much, Sue and Chelsea. I love them. I'm so grateful for you guys. The last bit of yarn that I have in my basket here is from Clinton Hill Cashmere. I have really fallen in love with Clinton Hill Cashmere in the last year or 2. Every project I've made with their yarn has become an absolute favorite. Their colors are beautiful. The hand feel is luxurious and soft, and I think it would be really hard not to fall in love with their yarn if you knit with it. All of the projects that I've made, I made a hat, I made a gorgeous shawl for my birthday last year, and now the bandit cowl. All of them will be in my wardrobe for many, many years to come. And with the way that I've been approaching my knitting in the last little while, streamlining my projects, just putting a little more thought into what I'm making instead of just trying to knit all of the things, this cashmere just makes sense for me. So I have 2 new balls of bespoke yarn, and they are stunning. They're in one of their newer colorways called Rosemary. It is a beautiful, soft, neutral kind of green. It's almost a grayish green. And it's soft, but it's also quite sophisticated. I really love this color. I think it's going to be perfect paired with a black denim shirt like I'm wearing now, or my denim jacket, my blue denim, or really anything. It's going to be the perfect accessory. I think I might make another cowl with this because I do love my cowls, and I think this would make a really pretty cowl around my neck. I've been really excited to cast on some new cashmere projects. I actually have one ready to go. I shared it in my last video. I shared a few Clinton Hill Cashmere dream knitting projects in my last video, but this one in particular is going to be my birthday cast on this year. My birthday's at the end of September, and I like to have something special, a special project that I can buy for myself and work on and just sort of treat myself with, and this is going to be it. I have it in this beautiful pink hazel project bag. I don't think I've actually ever used this bag before, but I thought it was the perfect size and color to coordinate with this bespoke DK yarn. It's in the color Cognac. If you guys remember from my last video, I have plans to cast on the Ridgeway capelet with this yarn. So this is next on my needles. I've got all of the yarn in this bag. I don't think I have found needles just yet. So I'm going to dig through my needle cases and look for the set of needles that I need to cast this on, because we're already 1 week into September and this is going to be my September cast on. I'm really looking forward to having that one. I can't remember if I am making the smaller or the larger size of that capelet, but I definitely want to make the one that Rebecca is wearing in her Instagram video, where she does a whole kind of recap on that design. It looks beautiful, draped over her shoulders and kind of slouchy, and that is going to be my next Clinton Hill Cashmere wardrobe staple that I'm going to make soon. That is all of the knitting that I wanted to share with you today. I have tons of yarn to put away and lots of dream knitting to think about for this fall and winter. I'm going to try and put in a little more footage at the end of this video with some of our visit to Shed Chetwynd Farms in Prince Edward County, and I might even share a couple of my current favorite things. It is the following day, and I'm having a really nice slow start to my morning so far, and I wanted to share just a couple of my current favorite things with you before I wrap up this video. It's already so long. I sat down last night and edited all of the footage from our little chat yesterday about all of my knitting projects. Side note, I cannot believe how many times I use the words so and absolutely love. I'm going to try and keep those words out of the rest of this video. I'm sure I will fail at some point, but I wanted to share a couple of my current favorites, starting with a cookbook. You guys know I love my cookbooks, and I picked this one up, I think over the summer or late spring, and I'm really enjoying it. It's one of those books that really captures summer cooking to me and late summer cooking. It uses really simple ingredients, a lot of Italian style recipes that just utilize quality ingredients, and it's very simple. It's called the Missoni Family Cookbook by Francesco Macapani Missoni. And yes, this is the Missoni family behind the fashion house. It is a really beautiful book filled with photography of their family, their kitchen, dishes. It really captures a lot throughout the pages. There are beautiful sections for pastas, main courses, desserts. I think there are quite a few in here that I'm actually going to try out this coming week. I am looking for a few new recipes to just finish off the season of simple late summer cooking before we transition into some of the cozier comfort foods of fall and winter. I think this is going to be the perfect book to do that. I'm planning on sitting down with it on Sunday, making a meal plan, and trying out just a few recipes from here. A lot of these recipes are types of things that I do normally cook, but there are little twists, some new ideas, and I'm super inspired by it. I also love the illustrations in here. They make this book a little more interesting than the usual cookbook, and I love it. I have a few more things that I wanted to share that are on my desk. A couple of them are books. One of them I've started reading. The other one is definitely on my fall to read list. And I have a few other things just accumulating in here that I wanted to mention. The first are these containers. They are a set that I got from Chapters Indigo. You can get them in different colors, and they collapse, and I thought they would be really helpful to organize some of my papers, office supplies, just all of the things that have been accumulating in different spots in my studio. I've been trying to get into planning and journaling again, much like knitting. This past year I have had months where I wasn't really keeping up with it. I wasn't interested in it, and I've also been toying with different notebooks and systems over the last few months. I actually just set up a new Hobonichi last week for September, and I share a little bit more about that in a Patreon video that will be coming out soon. I'm really excited about that. So I've got my planner set up for kind of like the fresh start of September. I've got some organizing I want to do in here with these little containers. They actually collapse and can be flattened if you're not using them, which I love. And the last two things are these books. So I've had this book in my collection or on my bookshelf for a really long time. I may have even shared it before. I just started it this past month while I was traveling. I'm not that far into it, but I'm really enjoying it so far. It is about a young girl that has a mysterious past, and her grandmother dies, and things start coming to light for her. It's just really It's kind of a fun and intriguing read, and so far I'm loving it. And the other book is one I have not started, but I am such a sucker for productivity books, just different reads on how we spend our time, and I saw this one pop up on the Wonder Pen's Instagram feed, and I was really interested in it, so I picked it up. It's called 4,000 Weeks, Time Management for Mortals. So I don't know how it is yet, but I'm definitely going to be starting that one soon. So those are my current favorite things. I hope you guys are really enjoying the start to your September, and I will see you again soon.